What's up, YouTube? It's QahirTheConqueror here. Welcome back to my channel for yet again another video. Before we start this video, I would like to say, if this video helps you in any way, if you resonate with this content, if you enjoy this content, please drop a like, comment, and or subscribe. Thank you. That would mean a lot to me and my channel. This video, we're going to talk about a simple concept that most people don't really think about and don't know the power behind both of these attributes. For this video, I'm going to talk about two things: the power of humility and the power of gratitude. And to me, in my opinion, they go hand in hand. Let's just go back down memory lane. Think of whoever you know. Think of yourself. Think of whoever you've met before. Can you recall times where you met people who were extremely obnoxious and belligerent and loud and proud in a way where they shove it in your face, shove it up your throat, and walk around all high and mighty? And just not to be offensive to any of those people, to each its own. But if that wasn't you, think of how you may have perceived them. Think of how they may come off and look without even knowing it. Think of how you may have felt if somebody ever came towards you in that way. And just think about the unpleasantries that might have been associated with those experiences with those individuals. If you ask me, not very pleasant, not very good. Usually those people stick out. You remember them. You had a teacher who was arrogant, proud, braggadocious, very, very unpleasant towards people that weren't the teacher, they're the students. We remember those teachers. I know I do. Think of classmates, peers, people in our friend groups or on the same teams as us that would put other people down because they weren't on those level. The mean girls, the mean guys, whatever. Think of those experiences. I know when I do, not very pleasant. We're going to remember you much throughout life. And I'm not going to pretend like I had a billion interactions with these people, but I've seen them and experienced them. And to be honest, might have even have been one of those people at one point in time. Why am I talking about the power of humility, the power of gratitude? What are we talking about? Why is that important? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Being grateful, being humble, just those two attributes alone, the strength and the power of those two attributes alone have taken me far in life, further than many other things. There might be a few other components that assist and help, but being gracious, being grateful, and being humble have gotten me more opportunities, blessings, and whatnot than many other things that I can think of. Why is that? As I mentioned, let's go back a little bit. I just asked you to think, reflect. How did those people that acted that way make you feel? Probably not good. So why would we look out for people who got it all figured out? You know everything. You might as well be the president. You might as well be God, because you're just all high and mighty just because you can do something a little better than somebody or because you know a little bit more than somebody. Now, I'm not going to pretend like those people don't ever get favor in life, but who are you more likely to favor? Somebody that is humble and grateful of whatever they get, or somebody who goes, that's it? That's all I get is this? I could do that in my, you know what I mean? Not very likely going to want to help that person more because they're going to throw it in your face and probably not appreciate it. Or they're not humble enough to be able to not cause a scene, not be obnoxious, not be a jerk, and not act in a way that's inconsiderate towards other people. What do I mean by the power behind it? Those two attributes alone are like a magnet towards you. A magnet. It attracts. Being grateful and humble, it might attract some bad stuff. Can't promise that it won't, but it will attract a whole lot of good because people like that. People like nice, kind, sweet, loving, caring, thoughtful, humble individuals. People like people who are appreciative of what they get. If you give somebody something, or you do something for somebody, or you look out for somebody, and they show genuine gratitude, you're likely going to want to do it again for them. I don't mean all the time, but you're going to be more likely to want to help them because they made you feel good for doing a good act. I've had tons of jobs in my lifetime. Obviously, in job environments, work environments, the workforce, there comes a time for group projects, and you might have to help somebody do something, or help somebody do this, or teach somebody how to do that, train somebody how to do that. I can think of many times where somebody was not very appreciative of what I did for them. Not that I wanted red carpet to be rolled out and to be promoted just because I did a nice thing or a nice gesture for somebody, but think of the sting that I felt when people would just dismiss whatever thoughtfulness I had on my heart and just shove it aside. Now, let me ask you, do you think I consistently went above and beyond to help people like that? No. Usually, for me, it takes about 1 or 2 strikes. If I don't feel appreciated for something that I do out of the kindness of my heart to look out for you, not because I want anything to gain from it, but because I saw you were in need and I was available to help you, and you throw it away like it's nothing and cast me aside like nothing and just expect that all the time, why would you expect me to continue to do that for you? Exactly. And you probably can relate if you've had experiences like that. That is what I mean by the power behind it, because somebody who isn't is likely going to experience a little bit more conflict because of the way that they come off, even if they don't know it. And the people who are, when I was at work, in workforce environments, job environments, and people, whether they were underneath my position, above my position, or on the same level as a coworker, when they did things to go out of their way to help me, to make me have less difficulty doing something, to look out for me, think of how it made me feel. Think of the connection that can develop. Think of the camaraderie that can establish. Think of it in a team environment for a sports team. If you're supposed to do something and you just want all the fame and glory and you don't want to help other people out, you're probably not going to be a good teammate, right? Same thing for school. That can be applied to so many different situations, which is why I am trying to stress the importance of being grateful, being humble. The Holy Quran in Surah 31, verse 19, it says, and this isn't going to be exact, be modest and lower your voices when talking and when walking around and things like that. Because the braying of an ass or the braying of a donkey, that's what donkey is extremely unsettling. Now, that is not the exact quoting of that verse in scripture, but that's kind of the gist of what it's saying. Be modest. Be a little more quiet. Don't be so loud and braggadocious and bodacious and belligerent and obnoxious, because the braying of a donkey, basically the loud boasting, being really loud, belligerent, things like that, of a donkey is used because that is not one of the most intelligent animals, not one of the most visually appealing animals. That's why it's used, because usually if you have never heard the saying, the loudest person in the room is probably like the brokest one or one of the most insecure. We usually wear our insecurities on us. So somebody might be obnoxious and things like that because they're trying to hide an inadequacy. That is why it's important to just be humble and go through life grateful for whatever comes to you. I can think of personal testimony where I was ungrateful. There were times where my mother, my father, maybe relatives might have done something for me or gotten me something, and maybe I didn't want that or whatever the case was, and I showed ingratitude. And I remember how it made them feel. I remember the pain that I felt when somebody says, you're ungrateful. You're not grateful. Because over time, even if that's somebody who is supposed to take care of you and things like that, they're going to feel less and less and less and less encouraged to do so because they can never do enough. They can never please you enough. See, trying to please somebody that's an ingrate is almost impossible. It'll never be enough. Nothing will ever be good enough. So you will always feel little. You will always feel small to them, worthless, like nothing, because nothing you do will change the fact that they're ungrateful. They're not grateful for what is done for them. Somebody that's not humble. Think of how that can make somebody feel. You got to throw it in everybody's face. It's one thing to be confident. It's another thing to be arrogant, disrespectful. Nobody likes that. Why would you want to come off that way? And what I'll also share is that the blessings come in once you start with gratitude, once you start with humility. Life, God, the universe, spirit, whatever you believe in, you insert that, has a funny way of humbling us. You can go to high heights in this world. You can go to low lows in this world. And if you're lucky, you might experience both or all of the above. And those experiences can shape you. I've been some high places in life, and I've been some low lows. And you have to be humble in order to truly receive what's yours. Because we're tested by being given a lot, being given a little, being given something and it taken away from you. Pain, strife, misery, those things test us, and they can bring out what's deep down inside, even if you didn't know. And it can create a monster. We all have it in us. And I have learned that in order to get to where you really want to be in life, or at least where I want to be in life, I have to be humble, because you can't serve those that you don't respect. How can you respect people that you think are beneath you because you're too arrogant to see them as equals? How can you be grateful for what you want to get when you're not grateful for what you have already? You might not have the biggest house in the neighborhood. You might not have the prettiest girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever else there is. You might not have the fastest, nicest, prettiest car, but you have a car. You have a partner that loves you. You have a home or an apartment. You have clothes on your flesh. You have one arm on this side, another arm on this side, a leg there, fingers and toes. But you're not grateful for what you have, but yet you want more. That is the issue. That is why there's power in being grateful. There's power in being humble. Because in order for you to get more, which is what we all really want, and there's nothing wrong with that, you have to appreciate what you have. So my advice to you is start your days with gratitude. As I mentioned, gratitude has been a struggle for me because I'm somebody who I know I'm destined for more, and I'm getting more, and I will get more, but it's easy to forget the gray area in the middle, which you already have. You have a family. You have parents that love you, siblings that love you, friends, family, etc., a partner. But you don't really appreciate the blessing that is. There are some people who don't have that. You have a car. There are some people who wish they had a car. So even though it might not be the nicest or prettiest or whatever, you get to where you need to go without having to rely on somebody else. You have a job. It might not be the best job in the world. You might wash dishes, or you might be a custodian. You might work with nasty, snotty, blowing your nose all the time, coughing in your face children. You might not love what you do, but it's a source of income, an honest dollar earned, and it puts money in your pocket. Why would you be given more if you don't appreciate what you currently have? You're not humble enough to even be in a position where you're tested in the fire and that monster comes out and you expect the world to just open up to you and just open the floodgates just because you think that's not how it works. Usually that opposite feeling where you're arrogant and proud and braggadocious and things like that can create self-destructive behaviors if you're not careful. So to conclude this video, I want to tell you right now that I will always advocate for gratitude and humility. Those two attributes alone have taken me further than when I didn't express those the way I do now. I'm thankful for any effort that any person does to go out of their way to look out for me, to give me something, especially if it's for free. I don't care if it's a pair of socks, a free t-shirt, some deodorant, food, somebody saying, you know what, it's $6.75, the 75 cents is in the car, just give me the 6. Anything that a human being does to go out of their way or to bend in some way for me, I'm thankful, because guess what? They didn't have to do it. Anything I'm given, I'm grateful for, because guess what? There are a lot of people who don't have, and you just want more. You already got it. It's usually not the people that don't have it, it's the people that have it. And it doesn't absolve anybody in the middle. So the moral of this video, the point of this video, is just to express there's a power in being grateful. People are going to want to keep blessing you. If you're humble, people are going to want to keep seeing you succeed. Let's just think about any celebrity or powerful person that is the opposite of those two attributes. Usually everybody will team up to hate them and pray on their downfall, because we don't like that. God says it in the Quran, and we think it too. So obviously you get the point. You see where I'm trying to connect the dot. Nobody likes that. So my best advice to you is that you'll get a lot of things by being grateful and being humble, and you should try it. Hope this video helped. Thank you. Take care. See you for the next one.